This is disturbing and infuriating. Obviously, we covered Ghislaine Maxwell being transferred to Bryan, Texas in this cushy prison camp, minimum security, which was against protocol. And still, against the federal government's protocol, they still do it. Sending her to this prison as a child sex offender, human trafficker, right after she met with the Trump official. And then we get emails from Ghislaine and a whistleblower about how she's not just being treated better because she's in a better prison. She's being treated like an all-star. Now, obviously, the prison system's whacked and horrible and messed up, and the solution to crime is not just the absolute worst place to send someone. But for her to be getting preferential treatment is sickening, I think, would be fair to say. We've heard just the transfer itself, Virginia Giuffre's family saying it's a travesty of justice, and how clearly there's some deal being made here with the Trump administration. And now Ghislaine, in some emails and a whistleblower that I'll show you, is bragging about how good it is and how she's getting ready to request her clemency.
We are learning new information about how Ghislaine Maxwell is allegedly being treated in prison. The Jeffrey Epstein confidant and convicted sex trafficker is currently serving a 20-year sentence at a minimum security prison camp in Texas, where she was transferred after an interview with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee have just revealed new information from a whistleblower who alleges Maxwell is receiving special favors at this prison camp, including customized meals personally delivered to her cell, after-hours time in a private exercise area, and access to a service puppy. Let's get more on this from MSNBC's Ken Delaney. And Ken, what else are Democrats hearing from this whistleblower?
Good morning, Anna. And it's important to keep in mind that Ghislaine Maxwell already was getting special treatment because she was not eligible to be transferred to this minimum security prison camp in Texas from her low security facility in Florida because she's a sex offender. And when we talked to prison experts about that, they couldn't think of any other time that had ever happened in modern history. But now we're learning that according to whistleblower information that reached House Democrats, she's being waited on hand and foot, as they put it, by staff members of the prison on the orders of the warden, and any staff member or inmate who objects to that, and apparently some have, are being retaliated against. Again, this is according to Jamie Raskin, the ranking Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee. As you said, she's getting that special treatment about meals delivered to her cell and access to this service puppy, but also her visitors, relatives, and
a service puppy. I don't have a service puppy. Ghislaine has a service puppy. Sick. Poor her puppy, too.
Visitors, relatives, and friends who come visit her are getting special treatment. They're being whisked into the facility, according to this letter, around the normal procedures. And they're even being, in some cases, being allowed to bring in computers, which Raskin said raised the possibility that Maxwell was given sort of unfettered, unmonitored access to the outside world, which is not supposed to happen with federal inmates. And this letter says that the warden herself is helping Maxwell prepare an application, a request that Donald Trump commute her 20-year sentence. And Raskin, of course, is saying that should not happen, and he's asking the Justice Department to provide more information about this. I have asked the Justice Department for comment. They oversee the Bureau of...
What world are we in? What world are we in where the warden, is helping her work on her application for Trump to pardon her? And then this is substantiated in these troves of emails, prison emails. Convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell raves in prison emails about comfort of her new facility. It's so great. She's living it up. She has her puppy. She gets preferential treatment. It's run in an orderly fashion, and the warden is awesome. The kitchen looks clean too. No possums falling from the ceiling to fry, unfortunately, on ovens and become mingled with the food being served. Well, that is not good if that was happening somewhere. Maxwell praised the prison camp warden, truly professional. I feel like I've dropped through Alice in Wonderland's looking glass. I'm much happier here and, more importantly, safe. You're not more safe. I don't know why people keep repeating that. She's not more safe. She's less secure. Something's just extremely off. House Judiciary Democrats also posted this. Explosive whistleblower evidence released shows that she's been coddled, catered, so much that one top prison official said he's, quote, sick of having to be Maxwell's bitch. It feels like there's more information here, really. Then you have whistleblower reveals Ghislaine Maxwell's plot to ask Trump to commute her sentence and is hopeful about that, which is disturbing. And then obviously Trump, as we continue, the government's not going to be shut down very much longer. So now you don't have the excuse of that. Now can the files be released? And remember, all this happened. The preferential treatment, the going to this prison against protocol, against her lack of eligibility, all of that only happened after this meeting with Todd Blanche, right after Trump's former personal attorney and the deputy attorney general. I know for certain if this exact same scenario played out, but it was Biden as president, then MAGA would have a much bigger problem. I know some of them are expressing criticism, but not enough. And it's interesting. Trump's actually kind of successfully pushed it out of the dialogue, pushed it out of the conversation. Even while a different bit of reporting I saw was that Republicans are panicking about this vote coming back up because they were told by the DOJ it's worse. The documents are worse for Trump than we had previously said. So we have to keep the pressure on. That's important. And one of the people, to his credit, a Republican who has been putting a lot of pressure is Thomas Massie. And Trump is really trying to get Thomas Massie out of Congress. So I don't need to read this. One of his long posts. Totally ineffective loser. Trump lights up. Weak and pathetic Thomas Massie. Must be just a coincidence. Here's Thomas Massie.
So he's calling it the Schumer shutdown, but I'm calling it the Epstein recess. Not only are we shut down, we're in recess. And that's unconventional, unprecedented in the 13 years I've been in Congress. The other thing that Speaker Johnson established a precedent on himself. Until Speaker Johnson had been Speaker, I never had observed this, but he swore into members during a pro forma session. They happened to be Republicans. And now he's has no real good reason for why he's not swearing in the Democrat during a pro forma session. Okay, to the Epstein thing. One of my favorite memes on the internet, well, before I get there, let me set it up. The president himself has called the Epstein files a hoax. And we know it's not a hoax. My press conference with Ro Khanna involved almost a dozen survivors of Epstein's sex trafficking ring. And they were there to tell us there are other men who they were trafficked to. And they've together collectively, they know what some of those names are. In fact, through their lawyer has informed me there are at least 20 names, and he described their professions, which I said to the FBI director, Kash Patel, when he was there. But getting back to one of my favorite memes on the internet was, it's too bad Epstein killed himself before he realized this was a hoax.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a hoax, why are they resisting releasing the files?
Yeah, I think we could have made that point in 15 seconds, but okay. Yes, he's right. He is correct. Took a little bit of a long detour to get there. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, right. The meme he's referencing is, wow, so crazy that Epstein was in prison for a hoax. You know, those things. Pointing to the absurdity of calling it a hoax. How disgusting it is to call it a hoax. And maybe it's a coincidence, but Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie are two of the more prominent Republicans breaking from the Republican Party to push for the files releasing. And Trump, in the last few days, has now turned on Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie. But if it's a hoax, like he said, just then release whatever is there. And y'all know that. And we've said it many times. But what are we're gonna let him, with the 100 scandals per day, move on from this? I don't think so. That's today's show. Guys, the bonus show If you're not getting the bonus show, you really are missing out. We have so much fun. It gets it's like, picture this show, but you strip away all of the professionalism, whatever's left. And you take out all the rules and the guardrails. That's the bonus show. Click the join button on YouTube. If you're a podcast listener, you can go hop over to YouTube and find a join button somewhere and click it. And preferably on my channel. And everyone watching on YouTube, do that too. Much love. I will talk to you all next time.